Have you ever wondered if there's life beyond Earth? This is a question that's been asked countless times throughout the history of mankind, but there doesn't seem to be a definite answer. Surely, us humans can't be the only ones living in this huge, ever-expanding universe. Before we get started on this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Here on The Unexplained, you'll find cool scientific facts like whether or not aliens are real. In recent years, scientists have picked up a number of strange signals from distant stars. While most of these signals probably come from natural astrophysical processes, many scientists believe that some of these signals may have been purposefully sent by aliens as a way of communicating. Unfortunately, our current technological equipment isn't advanced enough to decipher these advanced alien codes. However, not all hope is lost, as aliens seem to have already made their way to Earth. Today, we'll also be recounting the 3 most inexplicable and intriguing cases of alien contact so far. Before we continue, please remember to like and subscribe if you want more in-depth investigations into space, aliens, conspiracies, and the unexplained. Number 3. Barney and Betty Hill's abduction. In 1961, Barney and Betty Hill were driving along when a bright light swooped over their car on a road in New Hampshire. When they awoke a few hours later, they realized their car had been magnetized. After going through regressive hypnosis, both the Hills were able to recall their abduction. They claimed to have been captured by little gray men. The Hills' captors were, strikingly, very similar to Selenites, the 5-foot moon inhabitants conceptualized by H.G. Wells in one of his novels. Betty Hill then astonished authorities when she began drawing a map of a constellation that the unknown creatures claimed to be from. At first, it looked like a joke, until a few scientists spotted its resemblance to Zeta Reticuli, a system inside the constellation Reticulum. The Hills case generated widespread publicity and turned into the flagship example of a close encounter with aliens. Number 2. The WOW signal. In 1977, Ohio State's Big Ear radio telescope intercepted a 72-second burst of sound that bore signs of having come from interstellar space. This could have been a massive extraterrestrial communication. The anomaly measured 1,420 megahertz, or 1.42 gigahertz, a frequency described as in the water hole, a term for a radio emission range ideal for intergalactic messages. Jerry Amon, the astronomer who noticed the signal, was so excited that he scribbled a giant wow on his notes. Official astronomical explanations for the bizarre phenomenon concluded that it was probably secret spy satellites or a passing comet nobody knew about. But many scientists still admit those explanations were insufficient. Even if the signal weren't from aliens, it's still a sign that there is much that we don't understand in the cosmic plane. To date, the WOW signal remains one of the best and clearest alien communications ever obtained. Number 1. Antonio Boaz's seduction? Yes, you heard that right. In 1957, Boazz, a young Brazilian farmer, reported that small aliens with huge heads had come to visit him. Boazz was forced onto their spacecraft, where the creatures extracted blood samples from his chin and rubbed some sort of gel onto the wound. Then, a blonde, human-looking female with unnaturally big, almond-shaped eyes entered and initiated sexual intercourse. The female left immediately after, and that's the last thing Boazz remembered. As weird as it was, the story of Boazz's encounter, along with the juicy details, came to be the most stereotypical alien abduction. Doctors later confirmed that Boazz had indeed suffered from radiation poisoning. Though the encounter had made Boazz feel exploited, he still turned out all right. He got a law degree, had 4 kids, and died knowing that he might have had an alien half-child living somewhere in outer space. These encounters suggest that life beyond Earth is a definite possibility. In fact, there's probably an endless list of planets habitable enough to sustain life. The late 20th century saw countless breakthroughs in the search for life-supporting planets. With upgraded observation tools and robotic spacecraft exploring planets within our solar system, scientists are now more informed than ever on determining planet habitability requirements, and they're able to conduct substantial geophysical comparisons between the Earth and other worlds. In addition, the accelerating discovery of extrasolar planets has provided humanity with more in-depth knowledge about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Before we figure out how many planets could support life, we first need to determine what a planet needs in order to do so. NASA has defined the principal criteria for habitation as extended regions of liquid water, conditions favorable for the assembly of complex organic molecules, and energy sources to sustain metabolism. The requirements themselves are pretty straightforward. For one, liquid water is needed to dissolve and transport chemicals, providing for essential metabolic reactions. Secondly, we need energy to create and sustain life. This means a life-supporting planet needs light energy from a nearby star, or chemical energy from chemical reactions. Thirdly, nutrients are required to build and maintain life. A planet with a water cycle, habitable atmosphere, or volcanic activity can replenish and circulate nutrients. You might think that this set of criteria would limit our chances of finding another planet that can support life. After all, these are some pretty specific requirements, so maybe there's one planet, two, or maybe there are 100 billion. Earth is not as unique as we once thought. As it turns out, scientists now believe that there are 100 billion planets in the Milky Way galaxy alone that they can categorize as habitable zones. A habitable zone is where planets are warm enough on the surface to retain water in liquid form without being so warm that it turns into steam. For this to happen, planets must be near a star and have cloud cover that keeps moisture locked in. With hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way, it's not surprising that there are so many habitable zones out there, so that's the most realistic guess that scientists can give us now about our own galaxy, 100 billion habitable planets. But bear in mind that we are only one of hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe. Each galaxy is jam-packed with various kinds of stars, each of which could prospectively be orbited by at least one not too hot, not too cold planet. So, to answer the question of how many life-supporting planets are out there in the entire universe, the best answer that researchers can give is 50 sextillion. That's 50 followed by 21 zeros. Although we can identify planets residing in habitable zones, scientists say that the instruments that are presently available aren't advanced enough to monitor for signs of extraterrestrial life. As of yet, their equipment is only able to determine basic factors such as distance, mass, and temperature. Researchers say that they will also require many more observations and findings to be 100% certain about a planet's habitability. Exploring life-supporting planets and extraterrestrial life has sparked many controversial ideas, particularly regarding human involvement in outer space. Dr. Angelo Tsiaras, a senior research fellow in the Department of Physics and Astronomy of University College London, said, "The search for habitable planets, it's very exciting, but it's here to always remind us that this is our only home." On the other hand, William Barucki, principal investigator for NASA's Kepler mission, said, "If we find lots of planets like ours, we'll know it's likely that we aren't alone, and that someday we might be able to join other intelligent life in the universe." And then we have Elon Musk, who is hell-bent on spending his $21 billion to colonize Mars. His company SpaceX has been trying desperately to reduce the cost of space travel in the hopes of beginning a million-person colonization of Mars. Musk believes, quote, "If we're not in a simulation, then maybe we're in a lab and there's some advanced alien civilization that's just watching how we develop out of curiosity, like mold in a petri dish." What do you think makes more sense? Is Earth the only planet we can call home? Can we befriend aliens? Or are we simply an advanced alien civilization's experiment? To better understand the existence of extraterrestrial life, us humans will probably have to spend much more time developing our resources. We've only had the proper equipment to search for aliens for half a century. On the scale of the cosmos, that's less than a fraction of the blink of an eye. However, some believe that the reason behind why we haven't found aliens is because all the aliens have died. Factually speaking, the universe is 13.78 billion years old. It's possible that there might have been plenty of civilizations that emerged, evolved, and went extinct within those years. Last but not least, some theorists conclude that maybe, just maybe, the aliens are already here and we just haven't noticed them yet. Aliens might be trying to study us before revealing themselves, or they might have already introduced themselves to certain groups. Can it be true that aliens aren't out there, but already here? Comment what you think in the comment section below. With that, I'll catch you on the next video for more interesting stories and science.